Okay. Now let's continue this one. Okay, so Azure Networking Service, we call it as VNET. Okay, so we'll discuss later this, load balancer and DNS and all. But the core service what we are referring is basically the VNET one. Okay, so if you can see this, VNET related stuff. All right. So now, when we try to create that VNet, okay, so yeah, so I'm just focusing at this VNet and NSG and the ACLs. Okay, so under VNet peering, we will just deploy that VNet peering next upcoming class. Okay, so let's try to instead of doing up this entire on fly, let's create VNet one. Just in a left side panel, we have virtual network serviced here. Okay, so if you have this add button and you go to create, so if you can see the definition, create a virtual network in a secure connect your resources to each other, connecting your virtual network, your own on-premises network using a VPN gateway or expression. So whatever. So to connect on-premises one, you have to VPN and then express net create. So for this one, so to make your organization secure connection, to isolate publicly, you would have to go into network. So that's what I'm saying. The networking concept is basically it is building basic building block of your cloud landscape. So as and when we are going to create cloud landscape, they'll first focus on the networking concept. So I'm just go and create a virtual network. Okay, so here you can go and navigate to click on network. In the basic tab, you have simple information. Okay, so where we can able to use the subscription and the resource group. You guys is pretty much aware. And you would have to go and give the name in here. So that VNet information is basically you have to give your own organization and okay. Let's say my VNet for let's say I have CloudPix. Okay, so US region. So this VNet we are going to use for the US region. Okay, so likewise I can able to give and give the name and I'll make sure this right. And here is the deploying edge zones. We do have this region multiple zones, but for this region I did not see any zones over here. So sometimes you will get zone edge zone as well. Okay, so it's depend upon the region. Okay, let's focus on this only for the use region and then go for the security related. So here if you are going to opt this enable Azure Bastion, it's a very important. Okay, so how it is going to help you to the connectivity of your Bastion network. So Azure Bastion is a paid service that provide you the RDP SSH connectivity or virtual machines. Okay, so over a TLS connection, when your account Azure Bastion, your virtual machine does not need to public IP address. What does this mean? Okay, so okay, you have cloud, you build in a network. Okay, end up building of your network, and every time you are deploying VM servers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and application you have an application also deployed, and you have some other services also is running, storage services also running. Now for this VM, for this VNet, okay, every time you are doing VNet, under the VNet you are accommodating subnet and mapping to the IP address. Every service is required. IPs, right? Your organization. Okay. Normally, to connect from your on-premises or any other cloud or within the cloud or your local system or local laptop. This is your on-premises or your local laptop. If you want to connect, okay, if you want to connect from your cloud to on-premises required some sort of site to site or point to site and express route. We will follow that one. Point to site and site to site and express route. Okay, these things will be. So apart from that, okay, so when we are going to deploy any VM, there is a two IPs is going to map for this VM. Okay, one IP is a public IP, the other IP is a private IP. So one is a public IP, other one is a private IP. So for every VM when you're going to deploy, okay, so it will ask you the VNET, subnet, and a private IP is going to accommodate. Additionally, public IP is going to do. When you want to try to connect your laptop or on premises, typically we will use for the public IP. Okay, as long as the VPN is not going to establish. Okay, if it is in VPN got established, you have an option to connect your private IP. Okay, so that's what in a real time they are not going to entertaining to use of the public IP to connect any resources RDP session with your local laptop. So once after disabling of public IP, even though if you are not enabled, not connected VPN, okay, so still you can able to connect by using of the Bastion service. We'll check that one. Okay, so we will have in a real-time use case that we will go and we'll explore it. Okay, so it is a very secure information to connect your service. Okay, but now if you are going to map your VNET Bastion service, okay, it is going to charge as well as okay, you can able to map that resource to the Bastion service as well. So particular VMs. Okay, you can add the newly deployed VMs or existing VMs also you can able to map to the particular Bastion server so that you can connect without VPN connectivity by using of the private IP, not for the public IP. So public IP is in open, everybody will connect and if you have the user ID password, okay, but when you go for the private IP, it's required either site to site or point to site. So still you want to connect, the Bastion service is going to come into the picture to connect your server by using of the RTP. So at this moment, I'm just opting the services. Okay, so to make this Bastion services, so Azure Bastion public IP address it is going to accommodate. So you required some a public IP information. So we can able to use this Bastion public IP. You can able to use that one, or if you want to create, you can create. Okay, so the firewall information is also there. Okay, but at this moment I'm not going to use this firewall. Okay, let's move forward to the next IP address. So just before what we discussed is basically if you guys is observed. Okay, so as I said in this sorry, in here we discussed about VNET subnet, right? So I could say this is my entire organization. The VNET got created nearly to the 65,535. This is my address space. If you want to change, you can change it. So 192 series also can able to use 192.16.0.0. This is a VNET address space. This is called as a VNET address space. Okay, this is VNET address space. And I'm just deleting this one. Okay, why? Because it is opting Bastion. Post creation also you can use that Bastion services. Okay, let me show you first step by step process. This is the address space that you are going to accommodated to nearly 65,000 IP addresses for your organization. Under this one, you can create multiple subnets. So this IPs is going to divide into the multiple segments that is called as a subnets. Okay, that subnets is going to have some sort of count IPs. So that IP is going to map the resources. Okay, first is uh, resources to subnet. Subnet is going to map VNet. It is in a hierarchy of the tree structure. Okay, VNet, subnet, and then IP is going to map to the services. Okay, if you want to create subnet on fly, you can able to create it here. Okay, let me add this one and try to give the subnet information name. Okay, as of now, I don't want to go and utilize this many IPs here, and you can give the naming here. Okay, subnet one or subnet. I can say SQL subnet one. Okay, this is one kind of thing. I'll use this one 256 IPs from this one. Okay, if you want to use large, you can able to use it. Okay, if you want to use 512 IPs for this one, you can use this one. Okay, and here the network gateway and the network security group and route table, I'll come that part. Okay, so what is the importance of that one? Okay, network gateway is basically to address then translate NAT gateway to outbound internet connectivity to provide the internet access it is going to have. And network security group, it will going to help us to whitelist your inbound onboard ports here. Route table, it is going to give some routing information to connect or to cross connectivity of the between the resource. Just make this one by default. I'm just press adding one. So one subnet I have added. If I want to add it multiple subnet, let's say you can call it as app subnet 2. Okay, this is app subnet. I'm just using for 256. Okay, so this is typically we are going to divide into multiple things here. Okay, just next move as tags we discussed, and next it is going to validate and preview and make this one as a VNet. Just click on create. So this is VNet configuration. So what we did at this moment, creating of the VNet at this moment. Okay, so once the VNet got created, so the IP address also we discussed, NSD we are going to discuss, and the firewall and the VPN gateway. So let it deploy first of all. Okay, so any questions at this moment, you guys is felt difficulty? Are you with me?
Sir, we have to create NACL before VNet.
Which one?
You were telling something on MS Paint before VNet.
No, before VNet, we are not. First, we have to create VNet only. NSG you are talking about?
Could you please open that Paint window, sir? In that you have
Uh-huh.
mentioned to connect our resources.
Okay, okay, okay. No, no, no.
Uh,
This one, right? You are your site to site and point to site and express out. Is that what you are referring? To connect from server, connect with on-premises your laptop.
yes, 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 sir.
No, no. First, you have to create a VNet. That's what I'm saying. First, you have to create. I'm just coming to the step-by-step process. I'm just creating the VNet. I just make this VNet into the multiple segments. Then after that, I'm going to deploy the one VM into this specific VNet and the subnet. Then after that, I'll try to connect by using of the public IP, and I'm going to try to connect with the private IP. So private IP is not going to work. So that is the case. We came into the picture Bastion services. Okay. Now other case would be, see, you have production is running in your on premises. Non-production, you for the testing purpose you deployed in the cloud. You would have to connect your complete organization domain network in the private, right? For that case, you have to configure the services called as point to site and site to site in express route. This is a VPN gateway like. I'm just coming step by step process at this moment. Just deployed VNET and a subnet. Okay. Now I will go for routing. NSG network security groups. How we are going to map that network security group. So IP address also we does.
Sorry, what is the ACM?
Yeah, okay. So this is a network security group. Earlier we called it as a on-premises one ACL, access control list. So this access control list, what it is going to give you, basically, it is going to give you like, it is access control list, what it is going to give you, it will allow the inbound ports and outbound ports related stuff. Inbound and outbound. Whatever, see, the advanced name is NSG, Network Security Group. In on-premises, we will call it this one as a ACL list. Whatever function you are going to do here, the same thing will do cloud in a NSG. Okay. All right. Now, what it is happening now? Okay, so I have my VNet and the subnets. Just go to this virtual network one. Okay, your organization virtual network one, and you go to this subnet option where you can able to see this two subnets. Okay, if you want to create new subnet also, you can create. Okay, if you want to create new subnet also, you can create. Let's say app services we did, right? So and we do have some API services, web app API services. Okay, subnet 3. Okay, so I'm just go and click on it. So during the deployment of VNet, you can create. After also, you can able to create. See here how many IPs it is going to happen. If you guys is observed when I try to create. Okay, so how many IPs it is going to show you? Actually, this /24, the CID annotation, it will give how much? 251 plus 5, 256, right? 256. But when you go for actual available IPs is 251. What about the rest of the 5 IPs? So 5 IPs is internally the Azure is going to take 5 Azure reserved IP address. It is very important. Okay, in exam point of view. Okay, they will give you 192.168.4.0.2.0/24. So what is the actual IPs is going to available for usage? 251. What is the total IPs you are going to use? And 256. Let's say if I want to take this one 20. Okay, or 23. How many IPs here? For 23, you will get completely 507. Okay, so excluding of the 5 IPs, right? So likewise, we have to remember, and here is our overview part in the address space and the subnets. Okay, so I want to add a network security option. over here. Okay, so what is going to happen now? You can go and search for network security group. See here, I could see this network security group. What is this network security group is basically to create a network security group with the rules to filter outbound traffic and inbound traffic from your virtual machines and the other subnet. So what is the concept of this one? Okay. Let's come to picture. Okay. You have a cloud. You have a application database. Okay. And you have database. This is app server. And this is a DB server. Right. So, and publicly users is connect this website, website, and outside of this one, you are prompting, and users is connecting here. Application trying to connect is database server, and data is going to fetch with the application, and it is going to show in a website, their own website, right? So this is what typically it will follow, right? So if you open all the ports, okay, this application wants to connect to database server, you require the port. What is the database server port number? 1433. Okay, 14. Okay, so this both the servers are in a single VNet. Okay, both the servers are in a single VNet only, but still it is not going to connecting because of the port whitelist. This is a VNet, and this is a subnet 1 and subnet 2, sub 1 and a sub 2. So normally within the subnet, within the VNet, if you have multiple subnet, the Azure services by default is going to connect it. But when you go for the specific to the application related, try to connect with database server, you require 1433 port, inbound port. So you would have to whitelist that port into the 1433. Okay. So here it is going to come into the picture, the NSG. So where we are going to whitelist that one? NSG, network security group. So you can call it a ACL list also. You can call. Okay. Now go to this, network security group. Click on this create network security group. So what is the name that you want to give? You can give it. Okay, simple easy. What you are going to give now here? So NSD _ US region. If you have multiple regions, you may create in multiple NSD related. Just click and create here. So how we are going to map this one? Once after the deployment is done, we can map this NSD. We can map this NSD. See guys, as of now, I just deployed VNet and I just discussed with the IP address related, and I'm just deploying a NSG. Right. So let it deploy first of all. All right. So now this NSG got deployed. Now this NSG got deployed. So this is not associated any other database server or anything. If you can go and see this subnet is available. If you want to associate to map this one, you can have to go under associate option. So what exactly it is going to do? So it is going to give the whitelist information inbound and the outbound. If you can see, it is a security rules, ACL list kind of thing. It is not giving anything to open the 1433 port. You have to open manually. You have to open manually. This is related to load balancer, and this is related to VNET bound, allow VNET bound, and denied inbound, any if you are coming any other outbound, it is going to deny, it is not going to allow. Okay, so let me talk about later. Okay, so how the role it's going to play. So now what I'm going to do, I'll go and deploy the VM. Okay, so now see that how it is going to map, and what is the importance of this one. Okay, whether we are able to connecting or not, we'll see this practically now. Okay, just take it up this resource group, and we'll have this okay, demo SQL VM, my VM name, and it is in the East US region. Let's keep this one as is. See, yesterday we have created, image, Linux VM image. Okay, so yesterday class, we have created this, image related, right? So normally what we will do, we'll take it up as marketplace images. I can take this one, I can deploy the VM. Okay, but when you go for this golden image related stuff, which I have shared with you folks is already, my custom image over here, which is already got installed and downloaded. Okay, so see here, the image is already used. Okay, the image is deleted, but we have to use this one. This is having the no need to install SQL, it is already installed in that VM, just you have to utilize that one. Okay, I deleted already, that's what it is not reflecting. Okay, let leave it. So for the demo purpose, we'll take that Windows operating system level. Okay, so that we can able to take. Okay, so VM name, and this the sizing tier, I'm just taking, it is very lesser than. So we talked about this, sizing tier standard D2 AS V4, and you can take that, all the sizing tiers with you, whatever you are familiar, that you can able to take it is. Normally we'll take the B2S1 for the testing purpose. All right. So provide the username and the password and the password. All right. So you guys is pretty much aware these things, and we'll move forward for the network connection. So this disk related we already discussed. If you want to have an existing one, you want to create and premium disk OS, whatever you want, you can take it up. And this will just shared SSD disk or standard SSD disk. I just choose. Okay. Now my point is here network related stuff. Okay, just go to the network related. See, by default, this VM reason it is deploying, that is what it is showing here. Okay. Or else, if you want to create new one, you can create it. See here, this VM, it is accommodating in the used US region, VNET and a subnet. What type of VM, what type of the system that is? Maybe it is an app service. I am going to take the app services. It will show the drop down list. So you want a public IP, its public IP is available. We want to add the public IP, you can able to add a public IP as well. Okay, so let's keep this one, this is IP. If you want to create, you can create the public IP as well here. So I'm just making of IP is domain and the basic standard and static it is going to help us. Okay, just before what we discussed is basically the NIC network security group. Network, so go to the advanced option where we can able to see the network security. Just go to the drop down list. We have created the NSG, right? We have, if you are not going to create, it is going to create backend. It is going to create backend, and it is going to nothing. It is going to create any kind of NSG. Okay, go to the advanced option where you can able to map it. Or else, Okay, so both deployment also we can able to add that network security. Just go to the drop down list and map this NS security groups. Okay, so if I'm not going to do anything, what it is going to happen? You cannot able to connect either the public either the public IP you can connect, with the private IP if you're trying to connect it won't have it. But normally what you do in the real time, you will opt this NS this group. Okay, right. So let's go to the management and the monitoring option or dot walls option now. Let's keep this one and deploy it. Something validation is wrong. Let's see and go to this deployment option. Okay, I confirmed eligible for this licensing. Okay, so this is asking for the compliance related stuff. Okay, let's go for other one. Okay, professional one I'm taking, right? That's what it is. Maybe showing that. Let's take this data center edition version. Okay, just review now and create. So validation is done, and you can see this blue mark. We are good to go and create this, VM instance. See, not only VM instance, when you are in a project, you are going to create in Linux machine or Windows machine, and all PaaS services, Naya services. Typically, we are going to deploy it. Okay. Let's wait. This deployment is in progress. Okay, once it is done, how it is going to help us to connect from on-premises to cloud. Anyone have any questions at this moment?